We're going through a little technical difficulty, and we got it figured out so that he could be here for you. I could not afford to have Papa Joe absent from the day that Saratoga comes back. Now, PJ and I have gotten to talk about a lot of things, and it's ironic how beautiful timing is. And I don't call them coincidences, I call them God incidences, because they've happened very purposefully. I was here on the show when Syracuse decided to join the ACC. I was here on the broadcast when we were talking about everything that was going on with the lockout, and then the opening day ended up being the day that Papa Joe and I were here talking. And there's a lot of things that have happened over the years where Papa Joe and I were talking about something, and then boom, here it is happening within the broadcast. So I'm happy to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're having a fantastic week. I am so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so happy that the sun is shining, and I am so grateful for all of the great things that have already happened in my life and everything that is to come. We are here inside of that Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, inside of their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building that looks like coffee being poured. That's out in Manlius on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and of course on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners is their drive-through location that just celebrated a one-year anniversary. My mom and I got to make history by doing a show there in honor of my G-Mama. So, head out to Cafe Kubal. You know the studio is decked out. There's 315 everywhere. That is my home. So we have the 315 home sweet home. And we are less than a week from my 10-year anniversary. Wake Up Call and all the shows we do, everything that we do is under Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. And I will be celebrating 10 years in business next Wednesday, July 20th. And I'll be celebrating it while I'm interviewing, I believe, the Atlantic Coast Conference Atlantic Division down in Charlotte, North Carolina. So when I come home, I'll have to have a party or do something, get some Carvel ice cream cake. We have our Cuse pillows here, the 315 sign, and our beautiful Witty Wicks candle that is truly, honestly, helping my allergies, and there's not a lot that does that lately, so a big shout out to Witty Wicks. Come out to Witty Wicks in Township 5 and make sure in Camillus that you head out there today and support local and grab these pillows that are made here in our community, the 315 sign. They have signs for different towns and cities in central and upstate New York, and you know how much my community means to me as my hashtag support CNY started around February of 2020, and it's been going on since. And then, of course, Witty Wicks, these awesome candles, so make sure you go out and get those. So, with that being said, the studio smells good, I feel good, life is good, and inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'? Papa Joe's going to be on the show today. We're talking about the first half of the Major League Baseball season. We're talking about the All-Star break, and we'll get into the fact that, like I said, no coincidences in life. Today is opening day. We're not here to talk about Saratoga opening day. We're here to talk about Saratoga Race Course opening day on opening day. So we're here in the day that Saratoga opens its doors once again to you beautiful and wonderful people here on July 14th, a Thursday in 2022. And in hour number 2, starting at 10:21 a.m., people might say, what's the significance? It's my birthday, October 21st, and I believe that this man may be a big part of the future of Syracuse in a positive way. LaNorris Sellers is going to be joining me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in a video special you don't want to miss. LaNorris Sellers, the 2023 commit to Syracuse at the quarterback position that is a dual-threat quarterback out of South Florence, South Carolina. So hour 2, make sure you stay tuned to that. Hour 1, we got PJ, and I'm always happy to be here with you inside of these Cafe Kubal studios. So with that being said, Papa Joe, how we feeling this morning?
Very good, Daniel. My PT's going really good. I'm walking much, much better. And I actually think there's light at the end of the tunnel for me. I'm really excited about what the next month or so is going to bring me. So I just got to keep plugging away.
Yeah, you know, and listen, I'm extremely proud of you. I'm extremely proud of everything that you're doing. I love how positive you are because, you know, that positivity, it speaks to me. And not only does it speak to me, but, you know, it resonates with me and it sticks with me. So I love the positivity. I love the fact that, you're out there helping yourself. You decided to have these surgeries and do these things that would help you out. Obviously, you're married to a wonderful, wonderful woman in Miss Mary T, and the fact that she has been with you every step of the way and always holding your hand and always being your partner, and that is fleeting in life. And so it's a beautiful thing to have Mary T, and obviously for you to be here and for us to have you as well. And of course, for Joey and Kayla and Miss Lily, the whole family, beautiful, beautiful family. And of course, I know that they listen in, so I got to shout out them Wisconsin people, and I hope that they're all doing well up there. So, Green Bay town and your bros up there. So I hope all is well. And have you talked to anybody up in Wisconsin recently?
Well, we're trying to put a trip together for the end of August for about a week or 10 days or something like that. And Mary T is scurrying about the internet trying to find a flights that we can afford, for crying out loud. So, she's been in touch with the sisters, and they're putting together a little plan. Every time we go visit, which is once every year, I mean, when Mary gets up there, everyone drops everything. We all have a big party. So that's what they're trying to put together now. Mary's oldest sister is in Door County, which is a beautiful part of Wisconsin, for their anniversary.
Yeah.
But the other girls...
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
By the end of August.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll happen, and we'll have the opportunity to see you soon up here as well. So, very excited about everything that's going on here where sports meets that thing called life. Always appreciate PJ being a part of the show, and want to make sure that you're staying healthy and staying well and staying safe. So I hope you get up to Wisconsin. I hope you get up to Syracuse, New York as well. We need to have some PJ time and Miss Mary as well. And Mary it's crazy to believe this, but Mary has never met Miss Lily. So we need to make that happen, and we need to make that happen soon.
That's cute.
So PJ, Major League Baseball, we're rolling toward All-Star Week. And so, here we are with All-Star Week and with everything coming up, which means that we're in a place with baseball where we have seen the, believe it or not, first half of the season. And in seeing the first half of the season, I'm going to let you loose here. I know, Papa Joe, I'm wearing my Team Stark, which is a wolf family of Game of Thrones. So I'm going to let my wolf prowl free in this one and let you, go after the meat that you think is good here and leave what is not. So what are your thoughts on the first half of baseball season here for 2022?
Okay, well, I got a lot of things to talk about, obviously, but the first half of the season has gone pretty much as expected with the good teams, the dominant teams are leading their division. So, but I'll get into that in a minute. I just wanted to go over some things that happened last night or yesterday that I think were pretty important. Your Mets are really tearing it up now, Daniel. Francisco Lindor is really starting to kill it. He had a 3-run homer last night. He's got 64 RBIs. He's batting much, much, much better. And for them to keep going, he's got to lift them. He's got to go. Him and Pete Alonso. So the Mets are in really good shape with some good pitching. The Yankees won last night on a wild pitch against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not a very good team. They're fair, but, the Yankees should be able to cruise over these guys. And 2 nights ago, they lost to them. So, when you strap them up and go out there and pitch and hit, you never know what's going to happen. One thing that bothers me about Cincinnati is that I've always been a Joey Votto fan. He's always been an MVP guy. He's leads the league in hitting a couple times. I mean, he's just a super ball player. And this year, he's just barely hitting over the Mendoza line at 211 and with 27 RBIs. I don't know what's happening with him. Probably the same thing what's happening with Yelich over in Minnesota. These guys somehow lose their focus, or maybe their eyes go bad, or their reflexes are not as good. So I'm looking for him to step it up. But Cincinnati's not going to go anywhere, and I don't really think that Joe Votto's going to be around there much longer anyway. Another game I saw parts of it last night, and it just absolutely thrills me when I see this kid play baseball. It's Ohtani. And I watched him play Houston last night until I got tired. Ohtani pitched the game. Okay. He ran 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 12 strikeouts in 6 innings. I mean, there's only 18 outs in 6 innings, and he strikes out 12 of the 18. His ERA is now at 2.38. On top of that, he batted in 2 runs. He's got 56 ribbies on the year. I mean, I'm looking at it from a general perspective here. I try to keep everything in front of me. That's, you've heard me before say this kid's a generational talent, and it pleases me to talk about him like this and really think that he's actually got a chance to be an MVP 2nd year in a row. I mean, I don't talk about him like this and really think that he's actually got a chance to be an MVP 2nd year in a row. I mean, too much English. I don't talk about him like this and really think that he's actually got a chance to be an MVP 2nd year in a row. I mean, too much English. I don't talk about him like this and really think that he's actually got a chance to be an MVP 2nd year in a row. I mean, too much English. I don't talk about him like this and really think that he's actually got a chance to be an MVP 2nd year in a row. I mean, too much English. I don't talk about him like this.
Playing pitching for that. Also, I saw something this last week that I love. I talk about a lot because it doesn't happen a lot. And Greg, you're going to love this. I actually witnessed a complete game pitcher in a game.
Yeah.
Shane Bieber of Cleveland gave up just 9 innings. 9 innings. Gave up 6 hits, 1 run, struck out 6. And I'm thinking to myself, it was in the afternoon, and I was at my table doing some other stuff, and I'm looking up and down. All of a sudden, he's hit the 6th inning, he's hit the 7th inning. I said, well, they got a 4-run lead. They won't leave him in. He comes in in the 8th inning, and I said, wow, I got to get interested here. And Dan, if he doesn't come out for the night, we got a complete game. I'm telling you, probably for the whole season with both leagues, we're not going to have 10 complete games total, which is it's embarrassing because the way I grew up, you pitch until your arm falls off. So that was great to see. Great to see. I'll run through some standings here real quick, and some things have changed, some things have not. American League, the Yankees are running away with things. They got a 14-game lead over Tampa, 15.5 over Boston, and the rest are far behind. I don't see the Yankees backing up at all. Although last week they were 5-5, so it doesn't make any difference. They can play 500 ball and still win the pennant by 10 games. The Central Division, Minnesota still ahead over Cleveland by 4.5 games. Chicago White Sox by 5. This division's not going anywhere. I've said that before. They don't have enough pitching and hitting combined to try to make a run to some of the bigger teams, and it's just not going to happen. So, but I admire Minnesota and Cleveland the way they're playing hard. I still can't get used to calling the Cleveland Guardians. I still call them the Indians, so they'll have to sue me for that, I guess. The West, we got Houston Astros, who I really think will be the American League participant in the World Series this year. But they got 11-game lead over Seattle and 15.5 over Texas. Everyone else is far behind, including my hapless Los Angeles Angels. If I've been more disappointed in first half of the season,
yeah,
in all that I've watched in baseball, it's here. The Angels were set up to win this year. They had the hitters, they had the pitchers, and all of a sudden everything goes in the crapper.
Yeah.
They were last week. They were 2-8. I mean, this is a recurring theme with them.
Yeah.
Trout is nowhere to be seen. He's got 24 RBIs, but he's hitting 270, which Greg noted several weeks ago that he's actually dropped 50 points in his average. I mean, talk about a generational player. That is Mike Trout. You don't expect a guy like him to go in the slumps, but he is, and he's still in one, and he's not getting out. Last night, they won easy. I forgot who they played, but anyway, he wasn't in the lineup. They had Ohtani leading off against Houston. So I don't know. I'm a little upset about it because I really admire him so much. I know Anthony Wren didn't be on the IR with a wrist problem that he had surgery with. I'm going to have to say it again next year, perhaps. I don't know so much.
Yeah.
I know Anthony. Nationally, your Mets are doing fine. but they are being chased by Atlanta. Atlanta's 2.5 games behind. The Mets got 55 games won this year, which is great. Last week they were 6-4. I think they're playing great baseball. I think that they got good hitting. They got good pitching. Scherzer came in the other day and pitched a gem for 6 or 7 innings. DeGrom still hasn't come back. I don't think so. I haven't seen DeGrom lately. But the rest of the teams are far back. Philadelphia, Miami's playing much better. Washington, much better, but they're not going to challenge anywhere. The Central Division, I got my Brewers up by 2 games over St. Louis. This division, I've said probably 2 months ago that it's going to come down to whoever wants it more in Milwaukee or St. Louis.
Yeah. St.
Louis has the hitting, not quite the pitching. Milwaukee has the pitching, not quite the hitting. And as I explained earlier, Yelich it pains me to look at him because he's not the player that I saw when the MLB a couple of years ago. He was a killer. I mean, he's a 5-2 player. Let's put it that way. He's a 5-2 player, and right now he's not even playing for a 3-tool. So he's not hitting. He's not hitting for average. He's not hitting enough homers. He's not driving enough runs. And I still think that his problem that he had with his knees, a broken knee or a broken kneecap or something like that, is really hurting this kid. I don't think he's gonna pull out of it this year. His best bet after the season's over is just go back to the doctors and say, "Hey, help me out here. I need a little bit more help. You need to strengthen something or do something. Help me out here." National League West, you got the Dodgers up by 8.5 over San Diego, 12 over San Francisco. Dodgers are hitting on all cylinders. They were 8-2 last week. They got the pitching, of course, and they got the hitting too. So I look for this could be the old Dodgers-Yankees version when we had the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Yankees back in the days when I was growing up. Your Arizona Diamondbacks are 39-50. They're not bad.
Yeah.
They're 19 games out, but they're a lot better than they were last year. There's just a few things I want to talk about with some player accolades. National League hitters are being led by Luis Arraez of Miami. He's hitting 346. He's got 29 RBIs. Don't know why a guy hitting 346 has only got 29 RBIs. Must be the guys aren't getting out ahead of him, which is why Miami's in the last place. Paul Goldschmidt, St. Louis is 332, 67 RBIs. That's the way you're supposed to hit. You're supposed to hit. You're supposed to hit for RBIs. Paul Goldschmidt is my pick for MVP this year. Freddie Freeman, the Dodgers hitting 317 with 56 RBIs. He's carrying some of the Dodger hitters. He's carrying them, not for Trey Turner, but some of the guys that are not playing up to his power. He's carrying them.
Yeah.
Jeff McNeil of your Mets is hitting 311 with 35 ribbies. McNeil is a real good surprise. I've seen him a couple times in the last week. Got a real smooth stroke. It's got on top of the ball a lot. And Trey Turner from LA is hitting 305 with 65 RBIs. Trey Turner was a really, really good sign from them from Washington. He's the real deal, and he's a great kid. Great to watch him play. He's got enthusiasm. He plays hard. He's not lazy like some of these other jerks. In the National League, you got a really quandary here. You got Rafael Devers who's hitting 325 with 51 RBIs. You got Xander Bogaerts from Boston hitting 314 with 36 RBIs. And you got their best player, J.D. Martinez, hitting 309 with 38 RBIs. Now, these three guys are in the top 5 in batting. And yet, what are they? They're a million games behind. They're 47 and 42. They're 15 and a half games behind the Yankees. How can three guys this good, hitting this good, top 3 out of 5 in the batting, can't get their team any better than that? And the answer is there are 2 answers to this, obviously. One is pitching, of course, which I always harp on. They got fair pitching. But when you got Devers at 51 RBIs, Bogaerts at 36, and Martinez at 38 RBIs, that's telling me there's not a lot of guys on base to drive in. These guys are physically carrying their teams, and they just can't seem to get it done. So I'm a little disappointed in Boston. If I were to say something in the first half of the season, I would say besides Trout and the Angels, it's Boston. In pitching, got some good pitchers this year doing real well. I just got to find them. That's all. All right. One of my favorite players is Justin Verlander, from Houston. He's been a Cy Young Award winner 3 times. At 39 years old, he's thrown the ball as well as he's ever thrown it. He's got 11 wins. His ERA is microscopic. It's something like 2.20, 2.0, really, really small. I mean, a guy like him can carry your team, and he probably will if Houston insists to get any farther. They do have some other pitching, but they're led by Bergman and Little Altuve and some of the guys that hit the ball really well. Tony Gonsolin from the Dodgers has got 11 wins, and Gonsolin's ERA is 2.02. So you know why, along with Walter Buehler and Clayton Kershaw, those guys are putting together a good season in L.A. So I look for pitching to carry L.A. of course. Ian McCanahan from Tampa Bay's got 10 wins. Don't know much about Shan, except he's got a 1.71 ERA for a really mediocre team. And Tampa Bay usually plays us much better, and they're closer to New York in the standings than they usually are, but not this year. But he's put in a really good year. He's probably going to make a lot of money. And usually with Tampa Bay, is these guys, they have a good season at Tampa Bay, and next year they're playing somewhere else for $15 million a year.
Yeah.
So go figure that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Kyle Wright from Atlanta has got 10 wins. My boy Corbin Burns in the Milwaukee, 2.20 ERA. There's really not a lot going on there. My man Josh Hader has 27 saves. Now, I've always been whooping about Hader. I tell people how frightening he is to hit against. Yeah. Well, last week he got the poop kicked out of him. He lost a couple of games. He's 0-3 this year, which is highly unusual. I mean, I thought it was an aberration when I was watching the game. It's terrible. His ERA is up to 2.73. It used to be under 1. But he's got 27 saves, and Minnesota touched him up for 2 hits and 3 runs or something like that, or 3 runs and 2 hits or something like that. But he really got touched up by Minnesota. And his ERA is creeping up from the low ones to now almost 3, which is unusual for him. But I think he'll get back on the track again and start saving games. 'Cause Milwaukee's got to have him. Milwaukee's got to have him. Let me see here. What else do I want to talk about? Well, there's another guy. Another guy I want to talk about is that Pete Alonso from the Mets.
Yeah.
Now Alonso doesn't hit as well as some of the other guys. He's maybe hitting 250, 260, something like that. But that's which is good, okay, for a slugger. He got 23 RBI, leads the National League in RBIs with 72. And he's looking, if he stays the course, and the Mets are to continue to go where they're going, they're going to use McNeil and Alvarez and Francisco Lindor to carry him forward. That's 3 pretty potent bats right there. And Alonso, I think, is going to be in the All-Star Derby, home run derby, which I don't like, but that's okay. So everyone else will watch it. I'm not going to watch it because I don't like to watch it at all. It's just a big playpen, All these guys make millions and millions and millions of dollars, and the fans are going to vote in Mike Trout, whether he's hitting the Mendoza line or hitting 400. He's going to be on that team. He's going to be starting in center field, and so is Ohtani. So the fans run the show. So if they want to see a facsimile of Mike Trout in center field, then I guess that's good.
Yeah, and taking a look at everything that you said and a lot of different pieces that have come up here with Papa Joe inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, talking with Papa Joe from the Sunshine State as we do every Thursday between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern time. We got a lot of things going on here, and Pete Alonso trying to tie Kenny Griffin. When we look at the reality, Ken Griffey Jr., what he's trying to tie. Pete Alonso trying to go for 3 titles in a row to tie him. So very excited to see what's going to happen here. Pete Alonso was insane at the Home Run Derby. We know in the Home Run Derby coming up for us this year, we have Pete Alonso of the New York Mets. He's won the past 2. If he gets 3, then he's tying Ken Griffey Jr. for the most by any player. Pete Alonso has 131 home runs in his 2 Home Run Derby appearances, which is insane. Man's been crazy. And then we have Ronald Acuna from the Atlanta Braves is going to be there. Albert Pujols, some people forget, but that man's still around, 42 years old. Albert Pujols making it happen, going back to the Home Run Derby for the St. Louis Cardinals. And then we also have Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals. We have Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies will be there. We have Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners. We also have Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians. And, I agree with you, PJ. It's weird because when I see Guardians, I think of Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, I'm focused on other things. So when I see Cleveland Guardians, which they really didn't do anything, to the C of their logo, they just kind of made it more jagged. But yeah, it's the world that, that's who they are today. They're the Cleveland Guardians, and good for that. And let's see what they could do. But, Pete Alonso, and I actually I need to grab it here when we come back from the fast break. I have a Pete Alonso here in studio bobblehead, and it was the only one left. And I bought a pop figure of Pete Alonso because I became such a fan of his last year. So, and that was before the Home Run Derby. But, yeah, Pete Alonso got some, because I had heard about him and DeGrom. And it was funny because I was talking to Ross Turetsky, a great friend of mine, brother of mine, and he's been on the show for a bit. Went down and saw him in PA yesterday and saw my niece, Lorelei, whose birthday, she just turned 5 on Monday. And I got to see my nephew, LJ. And he was talking to me about DeGrom, and he's like, I don't know how much on DeGrom and whatnot. I was like, I'm a big Jacob DeGrom fan, and he's actually playing in Syracuse tonight in his rehab for AAA baseball. Be with the Syracuse Mets in front of a sellout crowd. So a big shout out to DeGrom, and welcome to the real orange and blue, and happy to have you here. So definitely excited to see what's going to come up here with all the great things coming up for All-Star break. PJ will have more thoughts coming after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We appreciate you so much for being here where sports truly meets that thing called life, and we will be back with you right after this.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to K9 Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Always happy to be here with you where sports meets that thing called life every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And like I said, inside of these Cafe Kubal Studios, Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, inside of their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and of course at their drive-through location on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse, so make sure you go and check them out there. And with that being said, we got the candle lit. We're excited about today's a very special day. Saratoga is opening. So let's break from baseball for a second, PJ, and let's get into Saratoga, because I would love to get your thoughts on the fact that it's not only opening day, talking about opening day, but opening day is today. The Saratoga Race Course will officially open here today, July 14th, which is a Thursday, and we are elated to be able to be here with you as Saratoga opens its doors. Papa Joe, your thoughts on the fact that Saratoga is officially open for business?
Well, it's the preeminent track in the world, frankly. There are some other tracks that may rival it, but not for 9 weeks out of the summer. 9 weeks out of the summer, I think, or 7 weeks. It's just a place to be. New York Racing Association has always centered their racing calendar when they race 12 months a year on these 7 weeks. And it's amazing what they do up there. The place is absolutely manicured to perfection. If you ever get a chance to go, frankly, you wind up sitting at you can bring in your own table and chairs, your own cooler. You can walk around, do what you want to do, walking the horses by the paddock, or sit out in the stands or whatever, or go up in the clubhouses and have something to eat, whatever. It's just a grand time to be. And yeah, you got to watch your money, but, it's fun to be. Saratoga always is the home of the very best trainers and jockeys in the world, not just in the United States, in the world. You got Chad Brown, Steve Asmussen, Todd Fletcher, Brad Cox, Bill Mott, a bunch of other trainers that are just
the very best that they do. Asmussen and Fletcher and Mott are Hall of Famers. Cox and Brown will soon be Hall of Famers because they're too young right now. And they just bring their load of horses, and they race for a ton of money. I mean, millions and millions and millions of dollars. And they have a stakes race every day. The overnights, which are the ones that are filled by regular horses, the overnights go for $100,000 a race, and the claimers go for $40,000 or $50,000 race. So they bring their best stock, and with that, you got to have your jockeys. You got the Ortiz brothers, I read, and Jose. They stick around New York 12 months a year. They love to go to Saratoga. So does Joe Rosario, Louis Saiz. One of my favorite jockeys is Flavian Pratt, writes a lot for Chad Brown. One of the great names in racing is Julian Lataro. He's coming in from Kentucky. Dylan Davis, Manny Franco, Rafael Santana, Tyler Gaffione, another guy from Kentucky. And you got two Hall of Famers, John Velasquez and Javier Castellano. They still ride, and they love to come to Saratoga. As a matter of fact, both of them will probably be in New York for the year-round. Although some of these guys don't like the bitter cold that Aqueduct brings in January and February, and they go down the Gulf Stream. So every day there'll be a stakes race. The whole country is open up to betting on Saratoga's format. They have full fields, and it's just a lot of fun. If you ever have a chance to go just to visit, you should do that. And even when they're not racing, the track part is open because horses continually train on the track and train on the turf. The stables really remain full because guys ship from Saratoga down to Belmont, down to Aqueduct, and back and forth and back and forth. That's what Chad Brown does. His farm is in Saratoga. It's amazing to see. And if you go to your OTBs in New York, I'm sure there's dozens of them. Yeah. I used to do business with the OTB years and years and years ago, but I'm sure they got Saratoga in the forefront. So there'll be a lot of money bet and a lot of fun and a lot of good horses. You're going to see some of the best horses in the world will be racing there and for a lot of money. So it's worth seeing. If you get a chance, try to do it. But you can't wait too long because they can put 150,000 people in there, but that's not what is happening these days. Have you heard me weeks before? You've heard me say that the game of horse racing is not what it used to be. It's not being frequented by the customers, the clients to come to the track, spending money on the beer and the food and everything, and bet at the track. It's off track. Everything is off track. So it doesn't surprise me that this last Belmont meet here, that no one came to the track, and yet they handled $150 million for their spring meet. It's amazing how much money comes through. It's really not fun. It's not that much fun. It's fun, but it's not that much fun because you want to hear the excitement of the fans. You want to hear the crescendo of the voices of the horses that are coming down the track. Everyone starts groaning and yelling, and all of a sudden the line hits, and everyone goes silent. So, well, that's the way it is. But except for the 7 weeks in the summer, Saratoga will draw an awful lot of people, mainly because it is the place to be. And Saratoga Springs at this time of year is beautiful up there. So that's it. I can't wait for it to open. Those times at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, and I'm ecstatic. I'm excited for this. Horse racing is big in my Pop Cavino and my G Mama, obviously your mom's sister, and so it's big in our family with the Cavinos and the Landos and whatnot. And so for me, I grew up around it, right? My grandfather took me to OT. We called it Ottob. So they took me to OTB. There's an OTB that's right. I drive by it when I'm driving Oswego and whatnot. So it's pretty cool to see that these things are still here, and obviously horse racing still going on very heavily. Also, just a beautiful day out, right? The weather's nice. You get to go out. You get to see something. You get to relax. You get to enjoy yourself. Some people might be betting. Some people go out there just for the fun of it, right? And there's something beautiful about it. PJ, why do you like horse racing so much? What is it about the art of it? What is it about the horses? What entices you and brings you back that you've done it in the professional world and that personally you still enjoy it?
Well, it all goes back to the actual breeding of the industry, and I'm going to have to give kudos to the Europeans for doing this, especially the Japanese and the Arabs. They have put so much money into breeding that there's been some astronomical horses come out of breeding in the last 10 years. And with that, the prices for these 2-year-olds in training or even yearlings are in the millions of dollars, and they haven't even raced yet. I like to see that from the ground floor up. I'd like to see a 2-year-old go into training with a Chad Brown or Todd Fletcher, move along slowly, maybe come to Saratoga to break their maiden as a 2-year-old, and then go into the 3-year-old year and try to make the Kentucky Derby. It's just a lot of work to it. And even the minor league tracks to some extent. And there's many minor league tracks in this country, as opposed to the real good ones, like Kentucky and New York, and not even Chicago anymore. They closed in Chicago and in California. The minor league tracks, they do their best with the type of stock that they have. And you have to admire them, too, because they work just as hard as the big trainers do. They may not get $1.50 a day like Chad Brown does, but they'll get a good trainer, a good training fee, too. And a lot of the horses that they train are sort of the rejects from the big tracks. Either they're injured or they can't race against the big boys anymore, but they're good enough to run in cheap claiming races and in cheap tracks to earn some money. It's a dynamic business. It's something that I enjoyed being in for years.
Yeah.
I did a lot of business in New York with a lot of different people, and especially the OTBs. I really got into the OTBs. Even though Monticello that I was at, the last track I was at is at the harness track. I really always gravitated to the thoroughbreds for years, and I have a nice art collection here with thoroughbreds, and I want to keep it. I don't know if Joe's going to want to keep it or not, but Mary T, if I kick off, Mary T can have it hanging around. It's a dynamic business to be in, and it's extremely difficult for me to talk about these trainers and the horses they bring up. The people that own these horses and give them to the people like the Browns and the Fletchers, they have deep pockets, Daniel, because you can't go into this. You can't go into what they're doing at that level and go in cheap. If you want to do it cheap, you go to the minor league tracks. But the major league tracks, these clients spend a hell of a lot of money. If they run a race for $300,000, you get 60% of the purse. It's $180,000. The owner gets $180,000, but frankly, 2 months will run through $180,000 in no time for training bills. But I like to see the jockeys use their wares. They're extremely fit. They're tough, and a lot of people don't understand what happens in a horse race. There's 2 areas that I talk about all the time when I'm giving speeches like this. There's 2 areas that are very important on a horse race. One are the outriders. The outriders have to be perfectly skilled on a horse. They have to know how to run after a horse. They know how to lasso a horse. They know how to guide a horse. That's important. The second part are the assistant starters, and I call them assistant starters. And what they are is the gate crew. These are the guys that take the thoroughbreds from the outriders, walk them in a circle or two, and try to put them in a gate without them kicking up a fuss. And, 25% of the horses don't like to go in those gates. It's too confining. And these guys are tough. They all wear vests where if a horse kicks them, they're not going to hurt them. They work the hardest of anyone. And if it wasn't for those, the assistant starters and the gatemen, putting the horses into the stalls where they go before the race, it wouldn't be a race. So kudos to both of those areas right there. If some people didn't understand it, then if you look at a race the next time and the race is being shot at from the starting gate, watch and see what the assistant starters do.
Yeah, and like you said, you talk about the art of the race, right? You talk about the dance. You talk about putting everything together, and and how this all starts in breeding, and who does it, and how do they do it, and So I mean, there's so many things that go on behind the scenes. I love it because it reminds me of my grandparents, because that's what I did with my grandma and my grandpa, and on my mom's side, that obviously you're related to, and that's what I did with them, and I'll always have a connection to it because of that, and I'll always have a love for it because of that. PJ, if somebody's never watched horse racing before, what would be your advice to them if they were to turn it on today?
I think you'd be able to get it on Fox, the Fox Sports channel, probably around 1:30 or so. I belong to NYRA, so I get their feed right into my house here, so I can watch it. I watch everything from the track, from the time they put the horses in the gate until the last one goes. So I have it right in front of me. If I had a chance, if they have a chance to watch it, it's just go over what I explained to you about what the outriders do with the horses, where they ride them around until they go in the gate. And if there's any shots, watch what the gate people do to get the horses in the race, to actually run the race. If you were to do it, you're going to open up the TV, you're going to see an incredible vista of beauty with Saratoga, and that'll strike you right there. And then you look around, your eyes wander, you see the dirt track, and you see they got an inner turf course and an outer turf course, and you see a panorama. There's about 50 stables back there. It's amazing to see. They'll shoot a shot of the clubhouse. In the early, when the days were good for thoroughbred racing, these places were full all the time. Even my little Monticello was full a lot. But of course, that's not the way it is anymore. But you still get excited by going to a place like like Saratoga. Even to say Saratoga Harness. But to go to a nondescript track, a minor league track, it's not very exciting at all. You have to know what you're doing when you go in there. Especially with horse racing, you can go in, you can just look at things. It take you an hour just to look around things. And you get a program and you're trying to bet. I would, if I were going in there the first time, I wouldn't certainly be betting, because I wouldn't know what the hell I'm doing. So you have to know how to handicap before you go into these places, especially if you want to do it for sport. I do it for sport because I like to gamble a little bit on the horses, not a lot, but I pick my spots, and I pick my spots with the trainers and the horses. I'm from the school where trainers and jockeys win horse races, not anything else. So I look for the trainers that do well, the trainers that move horses up, and the jockeys that ride the best.
Yeah, and I love it, and I think with Saratoga opening today in New York, we have the opportunity to really take a look at this, right, and see what it is in all of its glory, and to enjoy it. So I'm definitely looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to seeing everything here, and paying more close attention to it, right, because it has become a beautiful art over the years. People love it, and people appreciate it. So I'm definitely excited to see what can happen here, and looking forward to everything that Saratoga is going to bring to the state of New York, and thank them for all of the work that they put forward. PJ, we got a question here. Why are you not a fan of the Home Run Derby?
Frankly, I think it hurts the guy's swings. I think if you looked last year when Ohtani was trying to figure out what the hell he was doing in there, all of a sudden he started ripping 500-yard shots. I don't think these guys need to do that. Maybe someone like Alonso comes along and he's unusual, but I don't see this helping your swing at all. When I see a baseball game, when I see a hitter come up, I want to see him. I want to be able to see the hitter handle the pitch that's given to him, hit it to any field, not a home run, get a single, get a double, whatever. I don't enjoy the home run derby because of that. I think it ruins a slugger's swing.
Okay, that coming from Papa Joe here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Did you know? I don't think Papa Joe knows that I'm about to announce this today. I've been low-key showing it over the last couple days, but Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is now available on at least 12 different archived podcast sites. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, as well as iTunes and Apple Podcasts. MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. Did you know that you can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora or Wake Up Call DT as one word on any one of these outlets, and you can listen back to our archive of shows on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Over 1,600 episodes are available to you. Some of these, like Podbean, have them all. Some of them have the last 20, and they constantly update themselves. If you download any of these on your phone, they're free. And once you download this app, you have the opportunity to search, follow, and connect and listen to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these. So we have our archives here. Once the show goes live, they go into these archives. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Podbean, Player FM, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube, Papa Joe. So I never officially announced that, but we are carried on at least 12 platforms. After the show goes live, they go into the archive.
Well, congratulations on that, Daniel. I never heard of half of them, because I'm an old dinosaur. I know what I'm doing with you and maybe Amazon, but that's about it. I'm on Amazon a lot because Mary buys things all the time. So, the Amazon trucks around here, they're here every single day. And they're, that's how people do. That's what they're doing now. They're sitting at home and ordering stuff. So, but congratulations on that. That's great. Maybe I'll pick up on one of those things, see what you just said. Some of them I've not even heard of. So Mary will have to keep me appraised of that.
Yeah. So a lot of different. Basically, what it means is there's a lot of channels, a lot of ways to find us. Very hard to miss us, and that's for sure. So thank you to everybody that supports what we do on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. PJ, taking a look at some other stuff here. I know we talked about baseball, and I know that we've also spoken about Saratoga, but before I let you go, I do want to take a look at the fact that, the ACC, I'm going to be down there in Charlotte next week, and less than a week from today, I'll be down in Charlotte doing my thing, and I now know the student athletes that are going to be on site, on location for it. People that know me know that I interview the coaches and the student athletes of every single one of the 14 member institutions of the ACC, and I love doing it. So we have some new stuff though. When you look at the ACC now, Dabo Swinney's coming back and whatnot, but this is kind of an interesting world of the ACC. Now Jeff Hafley, he became the coach of Boston College when the pandemic was starting. Then you have Dabo Swinney, who's been there a while. Duke has a new head coach in Mike Elko, who comes from Texas A&M as their D coordinator. Florida State has Mike Norvell in his third season, but really his second, because in the COVID season, Florida State was canceling games all over the place. Georgia Tech has Jeff Collins in his third season, and I know Jeff from his time at Temple, and actually did my first interview one-on-one with Jeff Collins when I was in St. Augustine. And so pretty cool there. I was visiting you and Mary when I talked to Jeff Collins when he was at Temple. Louisville has Scott Satterfield, and we'll see what happens with Scott Satterfield, as he's had a few seasons there after Bobby Petrino, but there's a question mark. And then obviously the fact that, coaches can talk to teams all the time, but people were up in arms maybe about Scott Satterfield because they found out he was talking to South Carolina after a year at Louisville. So I think his days have been numbered since then, and we'll see how they do this season, but this could be the end of that marriage. Mario Cristobal is in Miami with his first season there. North Carolina has Mac Brown back for a third season in his second stint. NC State has Dave Doran, even though I don't think the fans always appreciate it. Pitt has Pat Narduzzi coming back. Dino Babers, year number 7 at Syracuse. I think it's put up or shut up time. It's got to be. In Virginia, Tony Elliott is that's his first year in Virginia. At Virginia Tech, Brent Pry is in his first year. And Wake Forest returns Dave Clawson. So a lot of new coaches in the ACC, a lot of them, coming to us. When we look at the new coaches that's in the Coastal Division, this is the last year of divisions in the ACC, bunch of new coaches, and there is the thought that Clemson and Florida State and other schools may be asked to join the SEC. What are your thoughts, and what do you expect out of me at ACC Kickoff next week?
Well, it'll be interesting to listen to. I think I read something a couple days ago where Mr. Stanky in the SEC has said rather vociferously that the SEC is staying in 16 games. They're not getting any bigger. So I don't know if that was a big show or what. I don't even know if the SEC's got 16 games. 16 teams. I guess they do, but I think if things were to happen, I think they would already happened now, Daniel. I think that if the landscape's still not as settled, but I think if someone were wanting to move and shake, they would have done it before now. I think now it's just old news. I think everything's going to remain the same.
Yeah, I mean, there's sources, and whenever it's somebody else's source and not mine, I'm very careful. I can discuss it, but to me, it's a rumor until there's truth brought to the light of it, because I trust my sources and I vet them. So, in the case of this, the someone else's sources out there have said that Greg Sankey wants to kind of lock it in here at 16. Now, we're going to hear from Greg Sankey next week when the SEC has their media days, and so it'll be interesting to hear what he actually has coming out of his mouth, and and what's going to happen there. Now, there's a different vibe coming from the Big 12. Brett Yormark, they have their media days going on for the Big 12, and he came out in his first public address and said, quite frankly, everything's on the table. He said, quote, "They are exploring all options." He said, "We're open for business, and optionality is good. And we're vetting through all of them." I think it's fair to say I've received a lot of phone calls, a lot of interest. We're exploring those levels of interest. Nothing is imminent, end quote. So Bob Bowlesby is still the commissioner until August 1st, but we're already hearing publicly from Brett Yormark, and Bowlesby, his swan song is leaving the Big 12 after they lost Oklahoma and Texas. And then they gained BYU as well as Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston coming in. But it's very, very interesting that Yormark, the new commissioner who officially takes his post on August 1st, and maybe that's what he's waiting for, so he can have a big plunge. And, maybe that's what he said to the Pac-12 teams. Hey, wait until August 1st so I can take credit for it. Because if it happens between now and then it's still Bowlesby's. But he said, we are engaged in conversations daily with all the key stakeholders. And at the right time, when something makes sense, we'll do it or not. Sometimes the best deals are the ones you don't make. I know that. Because we don't want to just do a deal for sake of the deal. That's not my mindset. And obviously, whatever we do needs to be additive and not diluted. But we're being proactive. We're not on our heels. We're engaged in meaningful conversations. We'll see where it takes us, end quote. So the Big 12 new commissioner steps up to the podium and says, hey, I'm ready to expand if it's right. What are your thoughts on the fact that the Big 12's new commissioner is so open to telling the world, hey, we are looking at expansion, we are talking to a lot of people, and if it makes sense, we're going to do it?
Well, whoever's looking at them better look at the TV contract to see what kind of deal they have to spread the money around. I think he may have good intentions, but I think his timing is wrong. The summer is going to be over with for these kids pretty soon. Some of them have already enrolled in school, and they're taking summer classes. They're working out, although they can't work out with a coach. But the timing is wrong for this. I don't like it at all. I think that he's putting some pressure on some of these other schools, the minor league schools that are trying to, upgrade themselves. I think the timing is wrong. This needs to be done in the off season, where there's a lot of dialogue and there's a lot of information that could be shared back and forth. I applaud his ideas, but I think his timing is wrong.
Well, and I mean, we'll see. I think his timing right now, I think he's doing it in the fact that he's going to be the new He's the new commissioner coming in, and it's media day time. So he knows the SEC is getting their media together. He knows the ACC is getting their media together. He knows the Big 12, where he is, the Big 10, the Pac. He knows that everybody's doing this, so he wants to be ahead. He wants to stay in the news. See, the Big 12 has been in the news. They were in the news last year for not the great reasons, right? Because they lost Oklahoma and Texas. But they're in the news this time around because they stole from the American Athletic and they took BYU, Football Independent, and West Coast Conference school for everything else, including basketball, playing up against teams like Gonzaga and St. Mary's and whatnot. So they're in the news, and then they say, okay, well, now the Pac-12 lost USC and UCLA to the Big Ten, and then they got out into the news that they're potentially looking at taking some of those Pac schools, and now he stays in the news by saying, hey, we're not going to tell you who we're talking to, but we're talking to people, and we may do it, we may not do it. I'm going to be vague about that, but we are talking to them. So what he's essentially saying by saying we're talking to a lot of people, we're not talking about who specifically we're talking to, but we're talking to a lot of them when we may and we may not. That's the same thing that Bob Bowlesby was putting out there. That's why the American Athletic, there was that ominous cloud above them 3 years ago when I was at the summer kickoff, because of the fact that you didn't know what they were going to do. I think that the new Big 12 commissioner is being very smart media-wise by saying we have ran PR out of our office for almost a month now that people have been paying attention to the Big 12. Look, the Big 12 is taking more teams. Look, the Big 12 is now finally going to get to 12. Now they know on July 1st, 2023 when it's going to happen because, those teams made agreements to leave their respective conferences. And now look, we're out in the news about potentially taking the Pac-12 teams and crippling the Pac-12. And now I'm going to tell everybody we're having conversations to stay in the news. I think that he just wants people talking about the Big 12, and from a PR standpoint, he's not dumb, because we've been talking about the Big 12 now for about a month, if not heading for longer, and I think he wants conferences to be nervous. I think he wants conferences around the country like the ACC and the Pac-12 to be nervous that he could be coming for you next. And so, I think what he's doing right now is strategically placing himself at the front of the news and making sure that he has everybody on their heels, because he specifically said, we are not on our heels. So I think he wants everybody to, whether they do something or not, I think he wants the other conferences to be nervous. I think he wants to call the bluff of some people, and I think he wants to stay in the news.
Well, more power to him. I wish him luck, but I still say the timing is wrong.
That coming from Papa Joe. PJ hanging out where sports meets that thing called life. Papa Joe, next week I will be, like I said, at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte, North Carolina. Do you have any thoughts for me, specifically going down to cover those 14 ACC schools? This will be, almost 10 years of me doing this. So any thoughts about the ACC Kickoff as I get ready to hop on the plane?
Well, I'd like to see Florida State do a little something more than what they've been doing. I just read yesterday they lost a four-star decommitted. I'm not sure that Mr. Norvell is doing all the work he's supposed to be doing on the recruiting end. He's far down the list in recruiting. I hate to think that there's a pattern going on at Florida State there, but we need Florida State to be what they used to be. And that takes Mike Norvell doing his work and with his coaches and getting the kids in. That's not happening right now.
Yeah, well, Mike Norvell definitely got to step it up. I'll be releasing my preseason poll on who I believe is going to finish. This is I love doing the preseason poll, and I always tell people I do a preseason poll and then I do like a mid-season look once I got a few games under my belt, because I think that's fair, right? You base your thoughts on the information that going into the season. You base your preseason poll. And then during the season, when you actually get to see who's doing what, you take a poll and say, okay, was this happening that I thought was going to happen? Because some people say, oh, well, you said that in the preseason, you got to say that forever. I think that you have every right to assess. It's my show. It's Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I can do whatever the heck I want to do. But it's, I think you have a right to assess what you want to do during the season. I'm not saying, 11 weeks in, but, I'm always somebody who tries to do my due diligence and my research when I make that poll and have that poll come out. And then once that poll is out in the preseason, I take a few weeks and I look at it and I say, okay, what do I think about this? What do I think about that? Where do I think this is going to go? And then I always note to people, this is what I said in the preseason. This is what I said 3 weeks in. And now we have, 9 more weeks to watch where this thing is going to end up. So plenty of time to see it. I'm always excited to do it. And I'm excited this season because Papa Joe, because the ACC is changing their model and getting rid of divisions, this will be the last time I will be predicting the ACC's Atlantic and Coastal Division because they won't have divisions next year. So this is definitely going to be a very heartfelt preseason poll because it's going to be the last time I'm actually picking 2 separate divisions in the ACC.
Well, good. I hope you have fun, and I'll be listening, of course. And have fun.
Yeah, we'll have a good time out there in the ACC. I love you as always. Send my love to Mary and Joey, as well as Kayla and Lily. Much love to everybody out there, and I hope that you are doing well and staying safe. I cannot wait to go back to Florida. And just so you and Miss Mary know, everybody that I've seen up here in Syracuse has said to me, number 1, did you move down there? 2, are you moving down there? And 3, do you own stock in Disney because you're with Pluto every day? So, I love it, and I love living in both worlds. I look forward to seeing you soon, and in the meantime, God bless, and I'll talk with you in just a little bit.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. That coming from Papa Joe here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We are going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we return, we will have LaNorris Sellers joining me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets
501
that thing
James
called
Street,
life.
324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse.
Anybody here on the broadcast that is within that recruiting trail world, and always looking forward to having people like LaNorris Sellers on the show who have committed to Syracuse over the years. And people will tell you, everybody's welcome. I don't care what position you play. I don't care what state you came from. I don't care what the record is of your team. I always love talking to recruits on the recruiting trail, and I am elated that the future quarterback of Syracuse, LaNorris Sellers, is going to be joining me. So very excited for that. What did Greg say? Check out the Chili Man in downtown Charlotte. Best hot dogs in the South. Most importantly, he is a Cortland State grad. Thank you, because I was looking for restaurants, so definitely appreciate that, Greg, very much so. I'm going to be in Charlotte for an extended stay here, so I'm going to have some more time than usual, and I'm going to make the most of that. So thank you for giving me some thoughts on where I should be going. I greatly appreciate that. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When I come back, LaNorris Sellers is going to join me inside of the Cafe Cubal studios where sports meets that thing called life. Follow me back and get to know the 2023 incoming quarterback for Syracuse University's football team.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. we prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners for their North Syracuse drive-through location. We are here on this recruiting trail special spotlight with LaNorris Sellers. LaNorris coming to us from South Florence High School in Florence, South Carolina, as a 2023 incoming freshman commit to Syracuse University at the quarterback position. For those of you that have watched this show throughout the week, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, his younger brother, Jaden Sellers, who is a wide receiver for South Florence, was here with us 2025, and his first offer coming from the Syracuse Orange. So with that being said, LaNorris, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. And first and foremost, congratulations on everything. I don't know if you know this, but Cuse Nation is very excited about you being their future quarterback.
Yes, sir.
So you're smiling over there. How do you feel about it? Have you been feeling the love on social media?
Yes, sir. It's very exciting. A lot at 10, but I'm enjoying it.
Why did Syracuse make the most sense for you? Because, you obviously came out with a spotlight here in what you've done at South Florence, and there was different options and opportunities. So why did Syracuse feel right?
Really, the coaches, they made me comfortable. They was checking on me, texting, calling, asking me how I was and stuff like that. So that's why I feel like Syracuse was the best option for me.
Was there any other school that had reached out almost as much? Was there anybody else that tried to stay in touch?
Really, App State, Virginia Tech, they really stayed in touch. Washington State was in touch more at the beginning, and then as Virginia too.
Yeah, so you had a bunch of schools around the country besides Syracuse. Memphis, Virginia. You mentioned them. You mentioned App State. You mentioned Virginia Tech, Washington State, Georgia State, and whatnot. When you look at your recruitment, and we're looking at other teams inside of the ACC, we're looking at the American, the Sun Belts, as well as the Pac, whatever it is now, the Pac-12 or the Pac-10, having offers all over the country from a bunch of different conferences has meant what to you?
It was a lot. I was enjoying it. Like I said, felt good just seeing all the work that I put in, paying off stuff.
Did your recruitment for you happen the way that you expected? Was it different than maybe what you anticipated? Bring me into what you thought and then what it actually has been.
So really with recruiting, I really didn't know like what to expect. But after I got my Washington State offer, everybody else was just like other offers just start rolling in, and that's really what happened.
Now, that Washington State offer, like you said, in the beginning, they were speaking with you and then they kind of faded back. Them being the domino that helps, this kind of tray of dominoes to fall, there's positive that Washington State had in your recruitment of, like you said, once they came in, everybody else came in. But why do you feel like everything cooled off?
I think once the head coach stepped down because of the vaccine or something with that, he stepped down, and then I guess all the other coaches just like stepped down and went other places and stuff. So
bring me into the trail of Syracuse. When did you start getting in touch with Syracuse? When did they kind of come into everything?
When Coach Beck and Coach and I went up there from Virginia.
Okay, so when you have Coach Beck and Coach and I there from Virginia, and like you said, Virginia had the offer, and then Syracuse. Was it almost immediate when they moved over from Virginia that you heard from them?
Yes, sir. Coach Beck, yes, sir.
Okay, and why do you feel like that relationship was so strong with those two coaches that when they left Virginia for Syracuse, they keyed in on you? Did they tell you what it was about you that made them offer you in Virginia and then again at Syracuse?
So Coach Beck and Coach and I look for a certain type of quarterback. They call it a quarterback that really does everything. And then, so I'm guessing this from our relationship at Virginia and what they was looking for in me as a quarterback, they just took it with them to Syracuse.
Would Syracuse have ever been on your radar if not for those coaches going over? Did you know much about Syracuse beforehand?
I did not. No, sir.
Okay. So when you got the offer from Virginia, Coach and I and Coach Beck, when they were there, how was the relationship? Like, how long had you built a relationship with them before they came over to Syracuse?
Really, after they offered me in March, we was just talking like a couple times a week, throughout the days and stuff.
So when Coach and I, when Robert and I became the OC at Syracuse, and then Jason Beck became the quarterback's coach over at Syracuse, when that happened, what did you think in the moment? Did you think like, oh, I might lose this offer to Virginia because I had a connection with these coaches? What was your thought process when you found out that they left Virginia?
They were just saying they'll let me know what happens and all that. So I was just staying patient with them. They was keeping me updated and stuff on what they were doing and what was going on. So I wasn't really stressing over it too much because at the end of the day, I couldn't control what happened regardless.
Did you ever hear from Virginia after they left?
I heard a couple of stuff from like the head coach and their quarterback coach did call me and stuff, saying that they were going to come see me in the spring and all that, and they want me to come back up there. And then that was it.
So bring me into Coach Beck. I mean, this is one of the new coaches to Syracuse, Jason Beck. His family has been involved on social media, reached out to Syracuse fans and whatnot immediately. His wife definitely has. So what can you say about how you would describe Jason Beck and why he's the quarterback coach that you want to be the leader for you?
He's just honest and truthful with me. His loyalty is big for him. Straightforward, somebody you can trust, and he's just there for you whenever you need him.
What can you say about his personality beyond football? How would you describe him? If there was a few words to describe Coach Beck, what would you say?
I'll say funny, outgoing, and then like straightforward, I'll say.
Okay. So Coach and I, the offensive coordinator here, what's your take on him, and what can you say about your relationship with him and what you know about the offense that he wants to run? Because I know talked about the fact that they're looking for a quarterback that does everything.
Yes, sir. I'll say he's honest and straightforward too. Loyalty is big with him too. And then his offense is like, he runs an RPO offense with play action, shotgun, run it, throw it, really everything.
How would you describe yourself as a quarterback when you say, he's running shotgun, quarterback's running it, throwing it, RPO and whatnot? How does your game match up with what he wants to do?
Like you said, I could just take it and just straight run it, or I can drop back and throw it, or then RPOs, just reading defenses and stuff. So I think I could fit perfectly in their offense.
LaNorris Sellers hanging out with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal Studios, your future quarterback at Syracuse. When I say your future quarterback at Syracuse, what emotions do you get? What thoughts go through your mind?
Excitement.
Have you done, I know you said you didn't know a lot about Syracuse before Coach Beckett, Coach and I went there and offered you, but now that they have and you've committed, have you looked into the history of the Marvin Graves and Don McPherson's and Donovan McNabb's and Eric Dungy and Ryan Nassib? Have you looked at any of that?
Yes, sir. I actually talked to Donovan McNabb before I committed.
And bring me into that conversation. What was that like? What do you have to say?
He was like, do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. You'll love it up there. When I was up there, I loved it. It's a great school. It's a great place. Even if football doesn't work out, you still be able to get a good education. And then that's when I just went ahead and committed.
So bring me into the timeline of Syracuse. So they offer you. When did you go up on campus after they offered you?
They offered me as soon as you went up there, and then I went. My first time on campus was the weekend, June 23rd, the 24th through the 26th, I think.
And so you go up there for the first time. Then when did you hear from Donovan?
I heard from him. Let's see. I committed March 6th, I think. I committed March 6th. I think I heard from him the 3rd or the 4th.
Okay. So did you think that was going to happen? Did you get kind of a tip off like, hey, he might be getting in touch with you, or were you completely surprised?
So my quarterback coach and him are like good friends. Like they train quarterbacks on the East Coast and stuff. So I talked to my quarterback coach and he was like, yeah, Donovan want to talk to you. And then we just talked that night.
Bring me into, so I want to shout out for the people that don't know, shout out your quarterback coach and just what you feel like he's done for your game.
He's been there since, I think going into my 8th grade year, I started training with him. And then ever since then, I just go to him once a week, twice a week, either every week or every other week. And then he just taught me all I know. He's been a big part of it, the whole thing.
What is it about your game that you think he's really keyed in on the most?
Footwork, fundamentals, timing, what to look for, when to look for it.
So for you, when you talk about 8th grade to now, where do you think you've improved the most? If you go back and look at your game yourself and really take a critical eye to it, where do you feel like you've had the largest improvement?
Fundamentals.
Okay. And how so in fundamentals? What about it more specifically?
I'm just tweaking like arm motion, arm slots, where to throw it, how to throw it, high, low, reading the defense's footwork, just stuff like that.
So your quarterback coach, friends with Donovan McNabb. So you hear from Donovan. Where were you when you got the phone call? I want you to paint the picture for everybody because I'll tell you Donovan's story after this, but I want to know your story of where you were, what you were doing when that phone rang and you answered it and you hear, hey, it's Donovan McNabb. You got a minute?
So my dad was in here on the phone with Coach Ramon. I was in my room, and then my dad called me around here and said, Coach Ramon want to talk to me. And then I was talking to Coach Ramon for a little while, and then that's when he told me that Donovan McNabb wanted to talk to me, and then that's when I got on the phone with him.
Oh, so they were together?
No, they was on the phone. Oh, I don't know if they were together or they was like on a 3-way call or what. But
So Donovan's talking to you. And what was the most lasting thing that he said to you?
He just said it was a good place all around, and even if football doesn't work out, you get a good education.
So that, in which you've said twice here, he echoed that. How important is education to you?
It's very important to me. Like, I feel like that's really the most important thing. Like, because if football don't work out, you need to have like a fallback plan, something to fall back on. And so that's just what I've been living for since middle school.
What do you want to study? Do you know?
Engineering, architecture.
Okay. All right. Where did that come from? Where does that passion come from?
In elementary school, I was in the gifted and talented program, and we had a class, and we drew like blueprints for houses and stuff. And then that's just when I fell in love with it.
So do you have a vision of what you want to do for the future? Do you want to own your own business? Do you have a company you want to work for? What are your thoughts on that?
I really don't know. I didn't get that far yet. I do know I want to do engineering and architecture though.
Okay. Do you have something that you'd love to build? Like if you had a dream of a place to work on, would you want to build an arena? What would you want to do?
Houses.
Houses? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. How are the houses down? I mean, I've been to Myrtle Beach and I've been to Charleston, South Carolina. So you're in South Florence. How are the houses? What do they look like down there? What's life like down there?
It's quiet most of the time. It can get loud at certain times and stuff. Houses are kind of, I won't say packed together, good space together. Just depending on like where you stay at. It depends on like how the layout of the house is.
So for you, describing South Florence to someone who's never been there before, what would you say about your home?
I'll say like it can get busy at times, like around South Florence. Food and stuff around it. It's just like, let's see how I can describe it. Driving down the road, it's just a whole area of just South Florence. Like it's the high school, then it's the career center building, and then it's the middle school. And then on the right side of it is the tennis courts, the football field, baseball field, softball field. So it's really just like one big area.
So you have that, and then around that, I want to know the best places to eat. Do you have a favorite restaurant in South Carolina?
Zaxby's.
Zaxby's?
Yes, sir.
I love that I asked you if you had a favorite, and I was wondering if you were going to go local, and you picked one of the chains that I absolutely love in the South, and they don't have it up here, and it drives me crazy. So every time I'm in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, I always I'll be at Zaxby's because I can't help myself. So what's your favorite thing to get at Zaxby's?
I get the wings and things with hot honey mustard wings.
Hot honey mustard? Never had those.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those are your favorites?
Yes, sir.
Do you get the sweet tea or you get something else?
I either get sweet tea or this mixed berry Minute Maid drink.
Mixed berry Minute Maid. All right. Okay. I can feel that. So I got to ask you about the clothes here because your jersey, like if somebody sees the jersey quick, if they look at South Florence, it looks very much like the powder blue Chargers of old. It looks like the San Diego Chargers. What can you say about the colors of South Florence? And do you feel like that? Because if somebody takes a quick look at it, I see that like LaDainian Tomlinson type jersey.
I really like those jerseys. I like the color of them and all. The hardest thing about the jerseys is like you really can't find cleats to match the blue. So you either have to go white or maybe a black. I don't really like the black cleats stuff, so I just wear white cleats. But I really like the color of the jerseys. So
you're coming to Syracuse, and orange is obviously the dominant color. They've tried a bunch of different uniform pieces and whatnot. Obviously, when you come onto campus, you get to try it on and see what you look like in it. Bring me into the uniforms, the helmet, just what your overall feel is about the Syracuse look.
I like the navy. I like the white helmet, navy, like they wore spring game the last season. And then I really like the orange and white too. It's just something about white pants and that color jersey with the white helmet. So that's what I really like the feel of.
Does it have anything to do with it, the look of the jerseys, or how they style it and whatnot. When you were being recruited, does that have any place in it? Kind of when you look in the mirror, does that hold any weight? I know some people really care about the uniform and what the look is. Did that matter to you at all?
No, sir, not really.
So the facilities side of things, that they have the Ensley Center, and that they're actually looking to build and expand currently on what they already have. And of course they have the dome, which has been upgraded. What are your thoughts on the facilities for football at Syracuse?
I really liked it. The dome, especially, like, it was loud in there, and there was only a couple of us in there. Like, he just like yelled a couple of times, and like it echoed. So I really liked that. And then, like the indoor facility, the Carmelo Center, and all that, I really enjoyed it. The team room.
So you walk into the dome. What's the first thing you pictured when you were standing on the field?
Like all the fans.
What number are you going to wear? You're going to try to wear number 5? What are you doing?
I'm going to wear 16. I think I'm going to try 16.
You're going to try 16? Okay.
Yeah, sir.
What is the significance of 16 for you?
Really, when I got there, like, they gave, since I was a freshman, I played varsity as a freshman. So really the last 3 options was 16, 17, and 19. So I just chose 16.
So that's a number that you've been holding on to, and so you want to continue that at Syracuse.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So I got to speak with your brother, got to talk to Jaden about being able to play with you on varsity, and you guys have one more run to get after a South Carolina state title. What's life been like being on the field with Jaden here and you both being able to be on the varsity team together?
It's really exciting. Like, I just know, like, we just know what each other, like, I know what he's going to do. He knows what I'm going to do or what I'm looking for. And I'm being able to tell, like, what he's doing and stuff. Like, some people might call it favoritism and stuff, but, like, it's really just that connection. Like, you can anticipate what he's going to do and he can anticipate what I'm going to do. But that's all it is.
Well, you know his tendencies. He knows yours. Has he in any way made you a better quarterback?
Yeah, so he was the first wide receiver really I was going to growing up. So, it just built on from there as we got bigger and faster. So,
what is it about his game that you think has improved? Because he spoke highly of you. He actually said, I don't know if you heard it, but he said on Wake Up Call here that when you guys would play in the backyard, you beat him every single time. So he said it taught him, obviously it taught him how to fight and be tough and whatnot, but he said he never won, which, has made him a better player. But how would you describe him and what can you say about him? Because he obviously gave you a lot of credit.
I give it to him. He's tough. And let's say you can talk a little trash to him. He'll get mad. But it just seemed like when he's mad, he plays better. Like, I don't know how that, I guess that like moved over from when we was little and I used to talk trash to him or whatever, push him around. And then as he got older, it just like all came out at one time, but he's really improved a lot.
Knowing that you guys have one more run together at South Florence means what to you?
It means a lot. Last year I didn't play. Didn't really get to play with him, but when we did play together, he had a couple of receptions. He scored twice, I think. And so really just looking forward to this season playing with him.
And you, with the comeback, just what you can say about what you've learned about adversity.
Just not to take it for granted, really. Glad to be back working out and stuff, being able to play, being cleared and stuff. So just looking forward to the season.
And getting out there one last time, one last ride with South Florence. How would you describe yourself as a leader with everything you've been through, having the game taken away, everything you've grown to be today? How would you describe your leadership as you have one more opportunity at South Florence to lead your team?
Really just making good decisions, communicating with people, bringing them with me. If I'm doing something right, I have other people, trying to do the same thing. Just being a good role model for the people around me.
Best part of being a quarterback is what?
Let's see.
Or your favorite part?
Making plays, I guess.
That coming here from LaNorris Sellers on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Before we jump into rapid fire, LaNorris, you said you can do it all and that you're willing to do whatever it takes. Would you rather throw a bomb downfield or would you rather run 60 or 70 yards to a touchdown? What would you rather do if you had to pick?
I'd rather throw it.
You'd rather throw it? Okay. Do you have a favorite current NFL quarterback? And if you do, who is it?
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton? Okay. Why Cam Newton? What is it about him?
Really just the similarities.
And how so? What do you think about – what about your game do you feel is reminiscent of what he's done?
Being able to run it and throw it.
So you look at Cam, do you look at a guy like Lamar Jackson? Do you think his skill set is different than Cam? How do you see Lamar? Are you a fan of Lamar?
Yeah, I've seen Lamar. And Lamar's a good player too. I actually think Lamar is more athletic than Cam Newton.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And so that coming here from LaNorris Sellers. LaNorris, I got to ask you this because Syracuse fans are going to ask me. You committed to Syracuse. That's a verbal commitment. We have time until you sign on the dotted line. How committed are you to Syracuse, and is there any chance that you would change your mind?
I don't think there's a chance I'll change my mind. Just building my relationship with Coach Becky, Coach Anai, and the loyalty that's been there, I don't think I'll be looking for anywhere else.
Syracuse, for you, you have those relationships with the two coaches. Was there anything else that just made it the right fit besides Coach Beck and Coach Anai? What else is it about Syracuse that you just felt like, hey, this place is better for me beyond those? Because I know we talked about the relationship. So beyond that, what else about the school just feels right?
All the coaches, like, when I committed, not just my position coaches or the head coach, like, communicate with me. It was like the whole coaching staff. And then it was like assistants, GAs, and stuff like that. And so I just feel like it's one just big family, and they just made me feel welcome.
I want to shout out your family here, too. What can you say about home life, and how would you describe your family?
They are hard on us. Like, school is big, extra workouts big, discipline. All three of us play sports, so like we're always on go and resting, eating, just stuff like that.
I've heard about, like you said, they're hard on us. I heard that Dad will push you to get extra workouts, to get more in and whatnot. But what can you say is your favorite part of Dad and your favorite part of Mom?
I'll say Dad wants what's best for us. Like, no matter what, if it's good or bad, he just wants the best for us. And Mom, she just cares for us. Like, she'll just love us up. Like, say Dad will say something or something happen, she'll just be there for us. Like, just love us up or whatever.
Can we shout them out? Share it. I mean, for people that don't know their names, can we share that?
My dad's name is LaNorris Sellers, and my mom's name is Cheryl Ford.
And having them in your life, like you said, they're hard on you, but how has that made you better? Not just on the field, but in general. How does their tough love make you a better person?
People say all the time that we have manager stuff like yes sir, no ma'am. That's something that they implanted us since we were little too. So that's made us a better person, doing the right things even when nobody's watching. Just stuff like that.
About to jump into rapid fire and have some fun with that. And you get to put me on the hot seat too. But I have to ask you this. Quarterback wise at Syracuse, it's been a little bit of a round robin, right? There's been guys coming in and out since Dungy that we've seen a lot of different quarterbacks. We've seen the Garrett Schraders, we've seen the Tommy DeVitos and the Jacoby and Morgans and so on and so forth. What are your thoughts about stepping into a team that has kind of had open season when it comes to the quarterback situation. What are your thoughts on that as you come in?
I just look at it as a opportunity to play, start off young, come in as a freshman, do what I do.
Fair enough. That coming from LaNorris Sellers. LaNorris, we're going to have some fun here in rapid fire. You're going to get to ask me 3 questions. I'm going to get to ask you 3. They could have to do with sports or not. It could be anything in the world. We're on video and audio worldwide. We have to answer these. But you get to put me on the hot seat. And LaNorris, I'm going to tell you this from almost 19 years of broadcasting. I don't know any other broadcaster or media person that's going to let you ask the questions. So I need you to enjoy this. You get to ask me the first one.
How's your family?
My family's good, man. You know, my grandparents have all passed. And do you have any grandparents that are still alive?
Yeah, my grandma actually passed in 2016. And then my granddad and my grandma, they're still here.
They're still here. Yeah, I know your brother talked about your grandma, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
And your grandparents, I'll tell you, to answer your question, but first to say this, make sure that when you see your grandparents, call them, go see them. When you give them a hug or a kiss, run back in the house and do it again. You will not regret giving them an extra kiss, an extra hug. And it is always a good time to go see them and talk to them. So the fact that you have them, just take this from me and put it in the back of your mind, but keep it there, that you should definitely enjoy the time that you have and don't waste it, okay?
Yes, sir.
So to answer your question, my family's great. My G-mama, my mom's mom, she was the last to pass. She lived to be almost 101. Awesome lady. Loved Syracuse football. Huge fan. She'd be all about you. She'd be like, bring them to the house. I'll make them food. She'd be cooking you meatballs and stuffed shells and all that. So fantastic family. My mom is a huge part of my heartbeat. You know, my parents, you know, growing up, always commanded the best out of me, taught me manners, morals, God first. So I could tell you tough love is, you know, it does work, and having morals and values and your parents not wanting you to be average and not expecting the bare minimum out of you does push you. You know, I own my own business, and I'll have my 10-year anniversary on July 20th of 2022. And, you know, that comes from being in a household where my parents wanted me to get my A's, you know, do my extracurriculars, have fun, go out there, be a good kid, be respectful, open doors, pray to God every day, be thankful for my life. So I would say my home life is awesome, and I'm a homeowner, and I have my dog, and my dog Lily is like the sweetest daughter that you could have. So my home life is good, man. I come home to a lot of love, and I'm a peaceful guy. And maybe if you know Marvel, you'll get this reference, but my home is like my sanctum sanctorum, like Doctor Strange. So when you come in my house, you have to be peaceful. There's a stress-free zone thing when you walk in the door. So if you can't do it, you got to leave. So I'm a very peaceful man. So my first question for you, we were talking about food. So I want to know, between mom and dad, who cooks in the house, and what is your go-to meal at home?
So both my mom and my dad cook. Like they don't like us eating out. My go-to for my mom is spaghetti, and then my dad makes these wings. I'm not sure like exactly what flavor they are, but that's always good.
All right, so he makes his own sauce.
Something like that, maybe, or I don't know. It's something weird.
Okay, but it's good. What's your next question? What's your next question for me?
Let's see. Growing up sports, what was your favorite teams?
Favorite teams, I still have them today. So Jaguars fan since day one. Second team, Cowboys, because I grew up getting to know them a lot. They're like 90s teams, not because they were winning Super Bowls. My best friend growing up was a big fan, so I got to like know all the players on the team. But I would say Jacksonville for the NFL, Syracuse for, you know, football and basketball growing up in like college sports. And then, you know, obviously Marywood, my alma mater for college, and Lemoyne, and OCC and Oswego, some local places. Baseball for MLB, the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that was from the beginning, I believe, too. Raptor fan from the beginning for the NBA. I'm a Charlotte FC soccer fan who just started their first season. I'm Hispanic and Italian, so Spain and Italy for overseas soccer, and NHL and the Anaheim Ducks. So I'm all over the place, man, but no Giants and Jets from me. So one of my good friends is on the Giants right now, so don't kill me, DeAndre, but yeah, they play in New Jersey anyway, so whatever. But my second one for you, LaNorris, you have such a unique name in LaNorris. What else about you would you consider unique?
I'll say I'm pretty outgoing. Like, I'll talk to you, I'll have a conversation with you. Because people all the time just be like, oh, no, you're such a good football player. I wouldn't expect you to be, like, so nice or just talk to any and everybody. But now I really just talk to any and everybody, have a conversation with any and everybody. So,
Oh, keep that about yourself. Humbleness is going to get you a lot farther than being conceited or having an ego. I can tell you that.
yes, sir.
What's your last one for me?
What's your go-to show or movie for you?
Oh, boy. TV show growing up, Boy Meets World. Do you know what that is? It's on Disney.
I know Girl.
Yeah, you know Girl Meets World.
Yeah, I don't know Boy Meets World.
Yeah, so Boy Meets World came before that. So I would say, and I got to meet Topanga, who's the mom in Girl Meets World, and she was my like crush growing up as a kid, and I actually got to meet her, so that was cool. And talk to her and interview her. And so, yeah, I would say Boy Meets World growing up as a TV show. Now probably The Flash, and I like a lot of Marvel stuff. My go-to movie, I don't know if I could choose a Marvel movie. I mean, I guess I could choose Spider-Man because that's my favorite character. But a movie in general, I'm a big fan of Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, Mrs. Doubtfire with Robin Williams, and Wedding Crashers with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. I like comedy.
Yes, sir.
I'd say that. Okay, let's stay in the world of entertainment, and I'm going to have you set a table for me. You can have dinner with one comedian, one singer, and one actor or actress. Who do you have dinner with?
So you said a singer, actor, and
a comedian.
Comedian. Let's see. Let me look up some comedians.
Okay. I got a list of them that I've seen that I'm a big fan of. There's a lot of good ones out there. I'd tell you there's two that I would put on my, well, there's probably three I'd put on my list. Maybe four.
So comedian, Kevin Hart.
Good answer. He was one of mine.
Actors. Let's see.
An actor or actress?
I'll say Tom Cruise.
Okay. And a singer. I like that you're doing your research. I like that. I feel like people are like staring at the screen going, this one. So it's like yelling to you right now.
Singer's kind of tough.
Singer, rapper, musician, anybody. Anybody in music. What music do you listen to?
I listen really to a lot of hip hop, really just on the radio. I don't really have a preference in music.
Okay. All right. If it was hip hop, who would you pick?
Hip hop.
Having dinner with Tom Cruise, Kevin Hart, and blank.
J. Cole.
J. Cole. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So J. Cole, good. It's a good choice. I like that you took your time with it. You can just throw an answer out there. That's a nice table. That's a good table. I like that table. J. Cole, Kevin Hart, Tom Cruise. Interesting. Very unique table. So that's LaNorris Sellers here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, your future quarterback of Syracuse, incoming class of 2023 from South Florence High School in South Carolina. We're inside of the Cafe Cabal Studios. LaNorris, you get the final word. What do you want to say to Syracuse fans?
I'm excited and looking forward to it.
All right, man. I appreciate it. I look forward to talking with you very soon, and I thank you for taking the time today.
Yes, sir.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsicuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning, and hopefully you've had a great week. If you haven't, well, we hope that we're making it better for you and doing everything that we can here to be positive on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. That's what I'm all about here. That's what it's got to be. And, you know, why, as my grandmother always said, as G-Mom always told me, when I said, why are you so positive? She said, what's the alternative? So remember that when you go to be negative today, or somebody tries to get you there, right? Tries to get your goat, as they call it. So be positive, stay safe, and stay well. Want to thank Papa Joe for being a part of the show today, talking baseball with us as we head into the All-Star break, talking home run derby and the first half of the season for Major League Baseball. And so happy that it seems like a million years ago we were wondering if we were going to have a season. So let's remember and appreciate that. Big thanks to LaNorris Sellers for joining me for the first time ever. Now Jaden and LaNorris have both been a part of the show. They both have offers from Syracuse. LaNorris has committed to Syracuse for 2023, incoming quarterback. And Jaden Sellers got his first D1 offer from Syracuse, as he is a 2025 wide receiver. And they'll have this season to play together today, this season, God willing, at South Florence in South Carolina. So God bless to them, and may they stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well as they try and vie for a South Carolina championship, state championship together, Jaden and LaNorris. So with that being stated, I want to thank you for being a part of the show today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're watching on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /Wake Up Call DT, as well as on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and you're listening on MixLR.com /Wake Up Call DT and on WakeUpCallDT.com. So definitely make sure you're tuned in with us live every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And like I said today to Papa Joe, I updated the visual, but I didn't talk about it, so I'm going to be doing a video about this. You can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can now find Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on all of these outlets. You can ask Alexa and your Google Home devices to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they'll do that for you as well. So we're on at least 12 different archived platforms. So if you go to any of these, Amazon, YouTube, TuneIn, MixLR, Podbean, so on and so forth, you can catch all of our shows. Once they go live, they jump into the archive, and you can check them out on any one of these avenues, so make sure you do that today. Thanks to Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, PB&J's Lunchbox, Avicoli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Honda City of Liverpool, I believed I said, but if not, I'll say it again, and Mother's Cupboard, and Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your
Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is fins up all day, day here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Each month we have the Dolphins with us in Dolphin Time on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We feature your Dolphins with our stories with student athletes, coaches, administration, as well as alumni and future Dolphins in our Dolphin Dive episodes every second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and every first and third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We have new episodes with Athletics Director Bob Beretta that we call AD and DT for Athletics Director, and myself, Dan Tortora, DT. So make sure that you check us out. And you can see the entire archive by going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. Make sure you bookmark us there. And, of course, you can also find us by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and subscribing to our channel there. And for more information on your Dolphins, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. It is Pacer Pride every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Marywood. We were just on campus having a fantastic conversation about leadership, collegiate athletics, NIL, the transfer portal, realignment, and so much more with Pat Murphy, who's had a lot of experience at the Division I level, and he's at Marywood University leading Marywood's Division III institution and growing and expanding them from his experience of everything that he has found success with over the years. So we thank Pat Murphy. Definitely go back and watch that video. I'm going to share it again on our Facebook and YouTube channels. It'll be on the Marywood tab on wakeupcalldt.com where all of our Marywood content is. It'll be on our YouTube channel. It already is. Actually, you can go and see it right now. youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, and you can find your Pacers Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Typically, they're with us for Pacer Pride new editions with student athletes, coaches, and administration. And, of course, for more information, go to MarywoodPacers.com. I'm dancing in the studio here. I can't get enough of that. Brian, I get to pick all the music for the show, so hi. Brian and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, exclusive multimedia marketing partners of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Your Bobcat Buzz is happening every single month. We've been on site on location at Cafe Kubal with Alex Grigorita. We did breaking exclusive news with Clay Gagan Sherman at Mother's Cupboard as he was announced as the men's basketball head coach. We had an awesome time with Danny Frasina as he finished up his time at Bryan and Stratton over at PB&J's Lunchbox in Liverpool, New York. We've been on campus doing roundtable discussion with the Bryan and Stratton leaders at their college here in Syracuse. We just had a Bobcat Buzz takeover, and Tay Baker announced that he was the women's basketball head coach on campus at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse on Wake Up Call. So we've already done a ton of great things. We've had Makai Reed on the show as well, who's staying in Syracuse, recruited and committed from the Syracuse Academy of Science and going to Bryan and Stratton to play on their men's basketball team. So many great things coming through here. Sean Peake and I did a special as he's starting the baseball program already a few months in, and Bobcat Buzz has you buzzing about Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. We will have plenty more coming up here in July, and I can't wait to bring that to you. You can find out our archive of all of our shows on the BSCSYR tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And for more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being stated here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, once again, a proud thanks to Papa Joe as well as LaNorris Sellers. I hope you have a fantastic day today and that you stay safe and stay well. Take care of your mental health. Strong body, strong mind. I just did that backwards to those on video. Strong mind, strong body, strong body, strong mind, right? Healthy body, healthy mind, healthy mind, healthy body. So please take care of yourself. Please be good to yourself. Pray and just be a good person. So keep God first and everything else will find its place. Find us on Wake Up Call at Wake Up Call DT, the Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. Cafe Kubal there for you, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, inside of 343 Fayette Street's Double Decker Cafe in Manlius, New York, and of course on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-through location. And for those of you out of town, go to cafekubal.com. Big shout out and a big thanks to Witty Wicks for making us oh so pretty here. You see there's a Witty Wicks candle right over my shoulders here with the Christy Martin gloves, as we have the 315 Home Sweet Home. We have the Cuse pillow, and we have the 315 pillow. And of course we have this number here. I'm already halfway through my candle here because the window's wide open. Smells so good. Awesome for my allergies, too, to have these in the studio. So thanks to Witty Wicks for helping out with my allergies. Thanks for helping the studio to smell amazing. And thank you for all you do for the community. Check out their local wall. We just shot a video about how the fact that Witty Wicks is not only local, but they pay it forward and carry a bunch of local products from local businesses in their Township 5 location in Camillus, right in front of Movie Tavern. So head out there today and make sure that you support Witty Wicks. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being a part of supporting local. Thank you to Witty Wicks for decking out the studio and getting us some more Cuse flavor and 315 love. Very excited to be here with you as we are less than a week from celebrating my 10-year anniversary of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. I love you all. And I tell you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, I send you my love, okay? Know that somebody out there is loving you, appreciating you, and wanting the best for you, because I do. I'll talk with you all soon. Spread love and cheer. Never spread hate. Be a good person. And remember, just because somebody makes you their enemy doesn't mean that you get to make them yours. And that I heard from watching one of my favorite shows on television, Miss Marvel. So, God bless. No stress. Do your best. I'll talk with you soon. Be well and stay safe, and please, 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 just be good to people and be good to each other. Be good to animals. Just be nice. Be kind and be good. It's not that hard to do, so please just put good into this world. It needs it. It needs it so very much, and you have no idea what people are going through. So just be a good person. I send you my